back, you're watching Overdrive. Now, British sports car maker Lotus has decided to make a very bold entry in the Indian market with the Lotus Eletre. Now, it is an all-electric hyper SUV that has come into the market via their only official dealership in New Delhi called the Exclusive Motors. Tuin will tell you all about this SUV.
If you know your cars, you know that a Lotus shouldn't be anything like this Eletre. It's not simple, it's not light, and it's an EV. But what you can't ignore is the way it looks and the sheer specs of this thing.
The Lotus Eletre is about the same size as the Lamborghini Urus but follows a softer, sleeker theme. There's been a heavy focus on aerodynamic efficiency as with most EVs, and you see this with the ducting on the bonnet and around the split headlamps. There's a grille too, but this also helps cool the powertrain with its opening slats. The taut look of the front is seen in the raked profile too, especially well done with the elongated rear. This Eletre R is fitted with the optional carbon fiber trim that seems to go well with this paint scheme. The optional 23-inch wheels look great, but the Eletre also has some functional party tricks up its sleeve, like these hidden LiDAR sensors and the retractable spoiler, which help keep that low 0.26 drag coefficient. The full-width lighting dominates the rear, but you see more of those neat aero inclusions like the split roof spoiler, the large ducts around the lighting, and the simple bumpers. Based on a skateboard EV platform, there's good practicality like the 388-litre boot and the 46-litre frunk.
So when you step inside this Lotus, the first thing that will take you back is the general look of it. You haven't seen, at least in India, an EV like this or even a luxury SUV like this. So just the layout, it sort of mimics the outside with these sort of panels which are very aerodynamic, again very aero focused even within the cabin. At least that's what the sense you get. Very soft curves and so on. Just the way this dash wraps around you, but what will take it to the whole next level is the level of fit and finish. It's really quite stunning. Everything that you touch is of a very high quality, all the materials and finishes of course, and especially high quality are all these switches. First of all, the steering itself is quite nice to hold, but these paddles for the regen and the drive modes, they have this ridged chamfered finish and that continues throughout the car. Right on these indicator stalks and these controls for the event and the gear selector. But that's it. That's pretty much all the switchgear that you have, because everything else is controlled through this 15.1-inch touchscreen. It runs an Unreal Engine, so the graphics really are quite slick, as you can see. And you control everything through here. For example, even the AC, the vent controls are right here. Same for your heated and cooled seats, all your drive modes, all your functions, everything is through here. And taking this sort of slightly special feeling, it's very different from what you've seen before. Other touches, for example, these covers for this KEF audio, it's again very well made. And these cup holders, the way they press down and press up. And then also you have the general feel coming from within the driver's seat, where because of the layout of the dash, you have a very clean view out. There's these slim banks of screens, one for you, one for your passenger, which give you just the bare minimum, but pretty much all the information that you need. The way the steering wheel, it's flat, so again, it doesn't obstruct your vision. The seats, they're so adjustable. So in that sense, it really does make you feel like you're in a sporty car.
The Eletre is based around an 800-volt dual motor setup fed by a 112 kWh battery pack. The top Eletre R has those over-the-top EV supercar specs to go with this, like 905 PS and 985 Nm. This gets it to 100 from standstill in 2.95 seconds, and with range still being a reasonable 500 km. The lesser Eletre and Eletre S also make a sizable 603 PS and 710 Nm, doing the 0 to 100 kph sprint in 4.5 seconds, but with range increasing to 600 km. This top Eletre R also gets a load of chassis tech like an anti-roll function, rear wheel steer, in addition to the torque vectoring, air suspension and adaptive damping on all versions.
Now that very committed feeling from the front, you can also find it here in the back seat, especially if you pick this, the 4-seater option. There's also a full bench for the 5-seater, but this is the sort of higher level 4-seater version. And yeah, again, all the tech from the front, it continues here. For example, you have this screen that flips up. You control again the climate functions, the audio, and some of the seat functions from here. But that same sense of quality, that same sense of being in a sports car like place continues here with the seats. They are pretty much very similarly supportive to the front, those same fancy cup holders here, and like in the front, quite deep the storage space. You get even a small one over here, maybe to put a wine cooler or something like that. And this also happens to be a spacious cabin nonetheless. So you have a decent amount of legroom, as you can see. You can put your feet underneath, so that's not a problem. There's no sunroof, that's a slight drawback for us maybe. But what you do get instead is quite a bit of headroom, at least for me. And the seat reclines, everything in the seat is powered, so it reclines to a nice angle. So yeah, in terms of something that you might want to be driven around in, the Eletre does well on those fronts too, at least from this very early impression.
In this brief look around, the Eletre already impresses with its striking looks, the tech on offer and the pleasing quality of its interiors. Prices start from Rs 2.55 crore for the base version, going up to Rs 2.75 crore for the S and to Rs 2.99 crore for the R. Surprisingly, it's quite the deal when you see it against its IC rivals. Now to see how much of that Lotus magic is retained in the way it drives.
With that, we've run out of time on this week's episode of Overdrive. But remember, you can stay in touch with us through our various social media platforms. You can drop in a comment on our YouTube channel as well. We'll see you next week. Until then, drive and ride safe.